Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome dear students in your chemistry class. Today we are going to discuss lecture 2 from unit 15, that is about ammonia and its uses. In previous lecture we discussed about synthesis of ammonia on industrial scale by Haber's process, and in today's lecture we will discuss the remaining portion, that is about the uses of ammonia. So let's move towards our topic. Uses of ammonia. It is used in the formation of nitric acid. It is also used in making explosives. It is used for making nylon, that is a polymer. And it is also used for making of fertilizers, some artificial fertilizers. Okay, we will discuss some of its uses in detail. The first one is production of nitric acid from ammonia. In the first step, ammonia is oxidized in the presence of platinum or rhodium catalyst to form NO, that is nitrogen monoxide. The reaction is shown here. Ammonia plus oxygen, it undergo oxidation in the presence of platinum or rhodium catalyst to form nitrogen monoxide. In the next step, this nitrogen monoxide is then further oxidized to form nitrogen dioxide, and the reaction is shown here. NO plus oxygen, it forms nitrogen dioxide, NO2. In the third step, nitrogen dioxide is then dissolved in water in the presence of oxygen to form concentrated nitric acid. Here the reaction comes. NO2 plus H2O plus oxygen, it forms HNO3. So it is the method that how ammonia is utilized in the formation of nitric acid. So it is one of the important use of ammonia, that on industrial scale, nitric acid is also an important industrial chemical, and for its manufacturing on industrial level, ammonia is used. The next one is the use of ammonia in the production of fertilizers. Now, firstly, we will discuss that what is fertilizer. Fertilizer is a substance that is added to the soil to make it more fertile, or to increase the fertility of the soil, to increase the concentration of important nutrients in the soil. Fertilizers are used. If we look over the detail, animal manure, it is the natural fertilizer, and a major use of ammonia is in the manufacturing of fertilizers that are basically artificial fertilizers. So ammonia is used, or the major portion of ammonia is used in manufacturing of artificial fertilizers. And it is said that almost 75% of ammonia is used in making fertilizers. The most effective fertilizers of ammonia, it contains nitrogen, because the plants need it in order to produce protein. As you know that nitrogen is very necessary for the plants to make the protein part. So nitrogenous fertilizers are made by ammonia, and it is most important or effective fertilizer. Some other fertilizers are also there that contains phosphorus and potassium. And these are the nutrients that are very essential elements that are commonly found in fertilizers. Okay, so how ammonia is used in making fertilizers and which kind of fertilizers are made from ammonia, we will discuss in detail. Nitrogenous fertilizers. Many fertilizers are ammonium salts. Basically, the fertilizers are normally ammonium salts, and they can be also made from ammonium hydroxide or ammonia solution. How to make ammonia, how to make different fertilizers by using ammonia? The reaction is here. Ammonia plus nitric acid, it forms ammonium nitrate, and it is one of the important nitrogenous fertilizer. The other one is ammonia plus sulfuric acid, it forms ammonium sulfate, and it is also a very important nitrogenous fertilizer. A table is here which shows different nitrogenous fertilizers like liquid ammonia. Its formula is NH3, and it is injected into the ground using special equipment. Ammonium nitrate, as we discussed its formation here, NH4, NO3, it is made from ammonia and nitric acid. The next one is ammonium sulfate, NH4 twice SO4. It is made from ammonia and sulfuric acid. And urea, CONH2 twice, it is made from ammonia and carbon dioxide. It is less soluble in water than ammonia fertilizers, and it reacts with water in the soil to form ammonia. So here is a list of that we discussed different nitrogenous fertilizers, and these fertilizers are basically made from ammonia. Okay. The next one is the important point regarding the advantages and disadvantages of artificial fertilizers. What are the advantages? The fertilizers increases the crop growth. They also increase crop yield, and they also improve the soil quality. But along with the advantages, there are some disadvantages of using artificial fertilizers. And one of the disadvantage is it causes eutrophication. And what is eutrophication? We will discuss in the next slide in detail about this process. And the other disadvantage of using artificial fertilizer is it turns the soil acidic. Now we will discuss the eutrophication process in detail. How can we define? It is a major problem with the use of fertilizers that occur when they are washed off the land by rainwater into the rivers and lakes. And this process is called basically leaching. This leaching causes an increase in the level of minerals such as nitrates and phosphates into the water, and this process is called eutrophication. Okay, the nitrates and phosphates from these fertilizers, they move from the land toward the rivers and lakes by rainwater. What happens by eutrophication? It encourages the growth of algae. These form a green bloom over the water surface. It prevents the sunlight reaching other water plants, and these plants die because they are unable to carry out photosynthesis. Okay, and as a resultant, bacteria decompose the dead plants. When the plants, they can't synthesize their food through photosynthesis because the sunlight uh, mm, does not reach them, and hence in this case the plants die, and the bacteria that decompose the dead plants, respiring and using up the oxygen in the water. As they do this, okay, the bacteria utilizes all the oxygen from the water, and this low down the oxygen level, and it makes it difficult for the aquatic life like insects and the fish to live, and eventually the lake may be left with completely lifeless. Okay, so that is the summary of eutrophication, and here we again discuss this process with the help of this picture. You can see here that what happens during eutrophication, the nutrient load up. Excessive nutrients from the fertilizers, they are flushed from the land into the rivers or lakes by rainwater. Here it is shown. And what happens due to this reason? Because the level of nitrates and sulfates increases and the plants flourish. These pollutants, they cause aquatic plant growth of algae, duckweed, and other plants. What these plants do, algae blooms, oxygen is depleted, algae blooms prevent the sunlight reaching other plants. You can see here, it is the algae layer. And what this algae causes, it causes or it prevents the sunlight reaching the other plants. And in this way, when the lights does not reach to the plant, other plants, the plants die and oxygen in the water is depleted. What happens due to this reason? The decomposition further depletes oxygen because the dead plants are formed and bacteria, they decompose the dead plants. And during decomposition, it uses further oxygen and it depletes the oxygen level. Dead plants are broken down by the bacteria decomposers, using up even more oxygen in the water. And in this way, the oxygen level in water also lowers. And what is the effect on the ecosystem? The death of ecosystem occurs. Oxygen level reach a point where no life is possible. Fish and other organisms die. So that is a very important disadvantage that is caused by the excessive use of fertilizers. Okay. At the end, we will discuss that how to do test for ammonia and ammonium ions. So ammonia is basically an alkaline gas, and the same test is performed that it turns red litmus paper into blue. Okay. And how we further explain this point, that ammonium ions that are found in ammonium compounds like ammonium chloride, ammonium nitrate, and ammonium sulfate, they can be identified by heating a solution of ions with sodium hydroxide. This reaction produces ammonia. As you discussed this reaction in your previous chapter, that when bases react with ammonium salts, it forms or it releases ammonia as a product. So ammonia gas, it follows this ionic equation, ammonium ions from any ammonium salt and hydroxyl ion from the sodium hydroxide or any other alkali, and it forms ammonia along with water. So the ammonia gas given off, it can be tested as described above, that here is a test because it is alkaline in nature and it turns red litmus into blue. So dear students, that was all about today's lecture. I hope you all understand it very well. Thank you very much. Goodbye.